Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday live stream. This week is extra special because, well, frankly, because I get to say, ha ha ha, ha ha, I was right. So today we're going to be talking about a few pieces of streaming news. The big one in the last week or so is that Disney Plus's promised price hike has gone into effect. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and pull this up. We're going to get to some more stuff in just a moment, but let's talk about this right now. What we're talking about is so I'm going to the front page of Disney Plus, advertising Cruella for an additional $30, but we can talk about that in a moment. Right here, if you squint, you can kind of see that. In fact, let's go ahead and blow that up. $7.99 a month. So $8 a month or $80 a year. So that is the big news from this week. Is that they've been talking about doing this price hike for a little while, and now it has gone into effect. Any new signups or any existing signups who are on this monthly or yearly plan just saw their price go up. So I've been talking about this for a long time. Actually, when Disney Plus first came out, it was November 2019. And Disney's analysts said, we're hoping we can get 60 to 90 million subscribers by 2024. That was the number they had. And other industry analysts are like, it might be a little bit better. I was over in the corner shouting, they're going to blow that number out of the water. They're probably purposely lowballing it, but come on, they're going to blow that out of the water. And they did. And now that they have firmly established their foothold in the streaming landscape, it's now safe for them to begin the process of increasing that price and increasing the profits that they see from Disney Plus. So here we are. I was right. I love being right. Turns out I'm always right. Go get your mug today. All right. So I'm always right. It's just a fact. Anyway, now that we've talked about that a little bit, welcome everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be talking about a few pieces of streaming news. We'll do another kind of streaming quiz show like we did before. Basically, you guys are just going to be in the chat. I'll ask you a few questions. You answer them in the chat, and then we'll have some fun doing a Q&A with that when we're finished up. So. Let's see what else might I want to get to before we really get started. We need to talk about the giveaways. Okay. Before we get started with all the streaming news and all that stuff, let me tell you guys about the giveaways. First of all, last week we did a giveaway for a. Oh shoot! Now I need to go pull it up. There it is. We did a giveaway for a Roku Express 4K Plus, kind of the new entry-level Roku device, the Roku Express 4K Plus. And we had several entries for that, many entries for that. But the winner of I hope the winner is watching now. We'll email this winner in a bit anyway. But the winner this week of the Roku Express 4K Plus is Elizabeth Trebelsey. I hope I'm saying that right. Oof, don't hate me if I got that wrong. Elizabeth Trebelsey is the winner. So Elizabeth, congratulations. If you're on the stream, I'd love to hear from you. If you're not, don't worry. If you're watching this later, we will email you with details on how to get that. So for those who are new to the stream, maybe you missed last week, maybe you've missed the last month or so, we're doing weekly giveaways. It's a ton of fun. I'm really glad that we get to do this now. And this week is going to be extra special. So if you recall from, what was it, two weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I released a video on the channel about Plex. Now, Plex is, oh boy, I'm getting some sounds coming through. Plex is a free streaming service that many people in the comments of our videos had been asking me to do a deep dive on for quite a while. And I had resisted for a while, not because I didn't want to do it, but just because we had other things that we kind of wanted to go over. And finally I said, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and do this Plex review. And it turned out I really, really loved it. Plex is a fantastic free streaming service, but while you can use it for free and it's really great, there is a premium version. And if you sign up for the premium version, you get all these extra little goodies. It's one of those things where if you're not premium, you still get a ton of functionality, and it's wonderful and delightful and all those things. But if you do get premium, you get the extra stuff. Well, Plex has generously decided to help us out with our live stream, or with our giveaway for next week. So starting today, we're opening up that giveaway for 3 lifetime Plex memberships, or I think they call them Plex passes. So if you are a Plex user, or if you've thought about using Plex, now is a great time to jump in. So those lifetime passes will be given away, 3 of those, thanks to Plex. So I will announce those during next week's live stream. But to enter, all you need to do is go to the description. So if you're in YouTube, it's the description below. If you're on Facebook, I think it's above me. I can't remember for sure. But anyway, go ahead and get entered. It's really easy to enter. Next week, I'm sure we'll do a whole like Plex themed live stream. I'm not sure exactly what we'll do next week yet, but it will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and really grateful to Plex for reaching out and helping us out with that. So that's great. I hope you all have a chance to go get entered. Anyway, let's see. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, but for now, let's talk more about, am I having technical difficulties? Somebody says I'm having technical difficulties. If you guys can all see me, hear me, everything's okay. Yeah, tell me if anything's going wrong. Okay, let's talk more about streaming and do a little streaming quiz. What we'll do is, this week, I've got a streaming themed quiz, and we will play that quiz. Oh, thank you, Fraden. We'll play that quiz together, and at the end of it, we'll do a Q&A, and those who got answers correct will get first dibs on the Q&A. I will, answer any questions you may have. So hang in there. We are going to. There's some very, very interesting things that we're going to be talking about with this little quiz that we're going to be doing. So if you were around a couple of weeks ago, then you remember this, the great 2021 streaming quiz. Well, this is volume 2. I should have put another little sticker on there, volume 2, but it's already busy enough. Who wants to look at that the whole time? Yikes. Okay, so let's go to the first question. So I will ask the question. I'll put the question up there. On screen right here. And once the question is up, go ahead, hit the chat, and give me your best shot with the answer. The first correct answer I see is the winner. Whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, the first correct answer will be the winner. And so you'll get, I think there are 6 of these questions. So 6 chances to get to the front of the line for Q&A stuff. Let's go ahead and get started. The first one is Disney Plus. Since we're talking about Disney Plus, let's talk about how many subscribers they have. It's not a small number. If you were here at the very beginning of today's stream, then you know I was bragging about being right about their subscriber number being huge very quickly. But how huge? How many subscribers does Disney Plus have as of last count? Let's see what you guys have to say. I've got a 60 million, 3 million, 200 million. Tanuki, actually, first of all, great name, Tanuki Toad. This is an open book quiz. You got Google ahead. Go for it. Hop on Google, find the answers. All right. So, I think that's exactly what Jaden did. So, but the first one I saw, I'm going with close enough. And in this case, it was Shoaib Hassan. I hope I'm saying that right. With 100 million. Yeah, the number fluctuates and estimates are a little bit different. And, so I don't know how many they have today, but by the last official count a month or two ago, it was 100 million. They just passed 100 million. So I'm going to give that one to Shoaib Hassan. All right. Let's see, did I spell that right? So there we go, 100 million. So what does that mean? They've got 100 million subscribers. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and throw that on there. As of March this year, they had 100 million subscribers. So yeah, no doubt it's grown a little bit more, by now. But yeah, 100 million subscribers. So what that means, if we want to be really simplistic, we could say, okay, so they raised their price by $1 from $7 to $8 a month, or $80 a year. But let's just go with the monthly price. If the math were simple, which it's not, then they would be getting an additional $100 million every month, right? It's not that simple. A lot of people who signed up on day one got deals, these 3-year-long sign-up deals. Some people sign up for the annual version, so they're paying a little bit less than $8 a month. And some people get the bundle. There's the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus bundle. And so it's not as clean as just saying, hey, they get 100 million extra bucks every month. But it's safe to assume that a good chunk of that, would be true. So maybe not 100 million, but maybe 50, maybe 70. I don't know how the numbers break down, and Disney isn't about to call and let me know. So, but yeah, it's huge. 100 million subscribers is massive, right? So these little price hikes, I was noticing at the beginning of the stream before we even started, Matt popped in and said, an extra $1 whole, with some laughing emojis. And I get that. Like, yeah, it's $1. Who cares? It's $1 a month out of my pocket for a great streaming service. Who cares? But yeah, that's what happens when you have 100 million subscribers. The extra dollar, or even if they had just bumped it up 50 cents or something, it's a massive increase in revenue for Disney. And somebody else was saying, hey, it's a money grab. This isn't about covering costs. Well, I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't. Let's see. Actually, let me see if I can find that comment. It was right up top. Okay, yeah, here it is from Socrates. $1 times 100 million subscribers is more than covering expenses. It's a money grab. Now, Disney's a giant corporation. They can take care of themselves. They don't need me to defend them. But let me just put this in context. When they came out when they announced Disney Plus, and everybody's getting really excited, and then they announced the price of it, $7 a month. People lost their minds. I lost my mind. I was like, $7 a month. When Netflix at the time, I think, was 13, $7 a month. How are you going to do that? And how are you going to turn a profit with that? And the answer is they were never going to turn a profit at $7 a month on Disney Plus. But the idea was, at such a low price, there was almost no excuse not to jump on and subscribe, right? And so that's how they got more and more and more subscribers. And now this is what I predicted was, they get enough people in who are interested in the service, and then they can go ahead and raise the price, not necessarily with impunity at will, but easily, right? And that's going to help them, yes, cover the costs of expenses. Making these shows, making all these Marvel shows, the Star Wars shows, all that stuff, it is expensive. And we're going to get to a particular show over on Amazon that you want to talk about expensive. Whew. But anyway, yeah, they do need to cover those costs. Add into that the context of, the Disney Corporation globally. And you look at something like the theme parks. You think they turned a profit in 2020? Not a chance. COVID really messed with Disney's profit structure, right? Their revenue streams. And so this is a way for them to begin clawing some of that back. Anyway, so I get why, somebody might say, it's a money grab, but I'm not sure it's quite as simple as that. It could be that they feel like they really actually do need to do this if they want to keep operating Disney Plus and other things. Anyway, so there you go. 100 million subscribers. It is quite the haul that they've got so far. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next question. So congratulations to Shoaib Hassan. All right, are you guys all ready? here we go. Netflix. Let's talk Netflix. How many hours per day does the average American watch Netflix? This one's just for fun. This one isn't tied to any specific story right now. But I'll give you a hint. It's maybe bigger than you might think after the pandemic. So it was a certain number before the pandemic. Now it's a different number. I'm curious what you guys think. Let's see. I've got a 5, a 7, a 2, a 4, an 8. Let's see. Hey, there we go. All right. Ryan went and Googled it. Said 3.2. That is correct. 3.2. So I just rounded it out. 3+ hours. If somebody had said 3, I would have given it to you. Oh, no, wait. Hamza did say 3, but I am going to give it to Ryan on this one because that was the most specifically correct response, according to the latest research. 3.2 hours. So Hamza, stay in there. You'll have, I think, 4 more chances to get another answer in there. But 3.2 hours. It was 2 hours a day before the pandemic hit. And then everybody was sitting on their couches or just looking for some background noise in their home office. And so they turned on Netflix. Netflix is now at 3.2 hours per day per American, household or, subscribing household. So pretty incredible. Ryan, let me give you a point on that. Oh, where'd my pen go? There we go. Ryan. And I have to double check that spelling. That is a difficult last name to spell for the likes of me. So yeah, it's pretty massive these days. 3 hours of Netflix. I'm curious, how much Netflix do you guys watch every day? I definitely, when it comes to streaming total hours of stream time, my TV probably gets close to 3 hours of workout time every day. Although actually, if you count baseball, I'm an MLB TV subscriber, and a baseball game is 3.2 hours. And so anytime I'm watching a baseball game, okay, I'm going to get my 3 hours just with that. But yeah, it's Netflix on average. I'm probably watching I guess if you averaged it out, I'm probably at 10 or 20 minutes of Netflix a day because I don't watch it every day. And when I do, it's usually, maybe an hour or so. So anyway, yes. Okay. So we got probably 30 minutes, 0. Let's see. George hates Netflix. Okay, George. 15. I know it's not 15. Or was that your guess? I'm not sure. Let's see, 6 hours. Okay, so yeah, when you get into a show, you binge something like Lucifer, or whatever. If you're binging a show, yeah, that number shoots way up, right? When I years ago I binged Breaking Bad, and if you've ever watched Breaking Bad, you know that once you get sucked into it, your life is over until you finish it. And so I was probably averaging 10 hours a day on Netflix. Afraid I grew up in Seattle, so he's asking about my favorite baseball team. I'm a Mariners fan. Save your condolences. It's okay. I know they suck, but that's what it is to be a fan, is to know that they suck and love them anyway. So I love those guys. Okay, let's get to another question. So we got 1 point for Shoaib and 1 point for Ryan. All right, so next question. YouTube TV was recently pulled from the Roku App Store. Now, we talked about this. If you were around, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. It might have been the week before. We talked about this. What did Google do in response? They didn't strike a new deal with Roku. They didn't, figure out something new. But they did find a way to assert their dominance. All right. Oh, okay. I got a few people coming in. That was really quick. George. Got it. They put YouTube TV in the YouTube app. So that is correct. I wonder if you're, well, no, you know what? Where's my remote? Is it all the way over there? It's all the way over there. Yeah, if you go into the let's go ahead and installed a backdoor in YouTube. I mean, it's a backdoor, whatever. But basically, they took on the YouTube app. If you go in on your Roku device, on the left hand, on the left hand side of your YouTube app, you'll see a menu of different options, and at the bottom of that, it says YouTube TV. So people can still, you can still go to the YouTube TV app if you already had it downloaded on your Roku. You just can't do any new downloads of it. And so if somebody signed up for YouTube TV, they can still just go straight to the YouTube app, which they have a deal for going through the end of the year. We'll see what happens with that. They can't lose that. So something will happen with it. But they installed that little button at the bottom of the menu for YouTube TV. So it was a clever little way for them to kind of get around it. It was it's been interesting so far. How has Roku responded to this action by Google? I don't know. I haven't asked them about that yet. I haven't heard anything. If you have any news stories on that, send them my way. I'd be curious to hear. Okay, so who was that? That was George Hall. All right. There we go. All right. Well done, George. See, it's nice to have a little whiteboard right next to me. I could just do this on my computer, but sometimes it's nice to be, a little more analog. Okay. All right. Shall we do another one? Let's do another one. That was 3. I think we got 3 more to go. What is the budget? This is the one I was talking about earlier. This is cool. What is the budget for Amazon's new Lord of the Rings TV series? So if you haven't heard, Amazon is, it's not Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings is a specific story within Middle-earth, right? And this is going to be totally different. This is thousands of years before, but it's, they're, for shorthand, they're calling it the Lord of the Rings series until we have a name. And this one, it is the most expensive television show ever made, by a long, long way. So let's hear what you guys got. It is $465 million, and Ryan popped in just before Shoaib Hassan with that one. So $465 million for one season of TV, for one season. Now, for context, each Lord of the Rings movie, okay, so there were 3 movies that came out starting in 2001. Each one of those movies cost $94 million to make. So what does that come out to? It's 281 million. I think it was 94, and 93. So $281 million for a trilogy, and that was a huge investment at the time. Everybody thought, that New Line was a little bit nuts. Obviously, that turned out to pay off. But now Amazon is sinking $465 million into one season of TV. Pretty incredible. So, Ryan, you're getting another tick mark. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I think the previous record holder was Game of Thrones. They were coming in, let's see, as of 2019, $15 million to produce one episode. so they what was season 8? Was that one 7 episodes or 8 episodes? I can't recall. Anyway, that was an expensive show. Holy cow, was that an expensive show? But this one is just off the charts, crazy. So there we go. Okay. Hey, David. I resemble that remark. I am a massive Lord of the Rings fan. Actually, I think I showed you guys this last week. Oh, let's go this way. Right over there. Yeah, this right here. That book series above my head. That's the history of Middle-earth. so that's me. You're making fun of me, okay? So how dare you? Let's make fun of other people, just not me, right? Okay. How many Americans cut the cord in 2020? This is another one kind of, it's another, it's another interesting number, if only just because of the COVID stuff, right? So I'm interested to hear if you guys have heard of this. Go ahead and Google. It's an open book quiz. You go nuts. I'm going to go shut off this little speaker that's yelling at me over here. All right. How did we do? How did we do? All right. How many people cut the cord? How many people cut the cord? All right. Let's see. Wow, those are some big numbers. All right. I'll give you another 10 seconds to go ahead and Google. And let's see if anybody quite gets it. This is, according to the most recent numbers. All right. The answer is 4.1 million, which we got from C-Dub. All right, C-Dub, 4.1 million. So 4.1 million people cut the cord. What that means is that 4.1 million people were on a traditional TV provider. So that could be cable or satellite. I guess it could be fiber. But they're on a traditional TV provider. Something like Xfinity, DirecTV, Dish, Verizon, and 4.1 million people have nixed that. That does not mean that 4.1 million people signed up for streaming services. That number is actually 2.1 million. And that means that 2 million people in the US in 2020 decided not to renew any sort of live TV service at all. So 2.1 million did what they call, instead of cord cutting, they call it cord shifting, whatever. They got rid of their live TV service, and only a portion of that 4.1 million actually went with a different streaming service. Let's see, Shoaib says, isn't the total now 25.3? I don't know. These numbers, it's tough to track it over time because the population shifts, and some people cut the cord and then sign back up and then cut it again, and it's difficult to know over a long period of time what that cumulative number would be. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was bigger. If we look at the numbers, this is one. Let's see. I got this from End Screen Media. They've got some good charts. Let me see if I can pull one up for you here. So let's see. See that? Yep, I did get you there. So let's see if I can pull up this. Oops. This chart for you. I think you'll find it interesting. Okay, if we look at this chart is the one that I'm looking at right here. That's pretty interesting. This is cable, satellite, and telco TV penetration of U.S. homes 2012 to 2020. So this is how many homes in the U.S. had a traditional TV service. 88% about a decade ago, down to 61.4%. That is nuts. That is a crazy decline in 8 years. It's amazing how quickly this trend has picked up steam. I guess you can't call it a trend anymore. It's more like a reality at this point. But all right, so somebody's asking for the next question. Next question. George is eager. George wants in on the next question. So let's do it. Okay. Following on the heels of that, which live TV streaming service is now the largest by subscriber count? Bonus points if you can tell me how many subscribers it has. All right, let's see what you got. There are more live TV streaming subscribers than this. Listed here: YouTube TV, Hulu, and Fubo. But those are three of the big ones. AT&T is also in the mix. You've got things like what's the Philo? So there are other ones, but let's see what you guys got. All right, the answer is, Hulu with live TV. So I'll put that back up. 4 million subscribers on Hulu Live. And Hamza got that one. I told you you'd have another chance. I'm really glad you got one. So Hamza Doris. All right. Very nicely done. Yes, it is Hulu with live TV, followed closely by YouTube TV. I think YouTube TV is at 3.1 or 3.1 or 3.2. That's what it is. So YouTube TV is at 3.2 million. Sling TV is at 2.5 million. Fubo surprisingly actually lags behind Philo. So Philo is at 800,000 subscribers at last count. I think this is kind of at the end of 2020. Philo's at 800,000 and Fubo TV is at about 500,000 or so. Yeah, maybe a little more, maybe a little less by now. But yeah, we're going to give that one to Hulu, and Hamza got that one. So I think we're on our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I think that was our last question. Was that our? Yes, it was. Thank you for playing. Okay, so we're going to move on to do just a little bit of Q&A. I'll hang out here for a few minutes. Let me make sure that I didn't forget any news stories. Oh, you know what? We've got to talk about this one. If we don't talk about this one, oh boy. So get your Q&A stuff ready. Don't submit it just yet, or else it might get lost in the chat. The chat, yeah, over there. It might get lost in the chat, and then I'll lose it. So if you got a question right, and I've got your names over here, especially Ryan, who got 2 points, you're going to be up first. So figure out what you want your Q&A question to be, and save that for just a moment. But first, let's talk about this for a moment. Amazon is set to acquire MGM Studios for $8.5 billion. It's 8.45, I guess, technically, but $8.5 billion. What does that mean? Okay. MGM, one of the oldest and most storied Hollywood outfits out there. A studio that is right now most famous for the James Bond franchise. Obviously, they have lots of other stuff. But what is this going to mean for cord cutters, for streamers? Are they going to stand up a new MGM Plus streaming service? Obviously, we don't know the answers to that yet. All we know is that now Amazon owns it, and so they can do what they want with those properties. Or I guess now they don't own it now, but they will. They reached the deal. What was it, on Wednesday? Oh, okay, maybe they did already do it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Point being, they haven't made any announcements of future projects, with all this stuff, whatever. But what this does mean is that Amazon now has access not just to a bunch of properties, but now to a bunch more production infrastructure. This was one of the last kind of studio holdouts. There are a couple others, I think, that are still solo. Lionsgate, maybe, whatever. Point being, now Amazon, which is heavy into the production game, like we talked about with the Lord of the Rings, they now have a bunch more production infrastructure, so they can produce more stuff. And they also have all these assets that MGM has already produced over the last 100 years, or however long they've been around. I don't know, 80 years, whatever. But with that, I actually have no idea how old MGM is. I just know it's old. But with those things, we might be tempted to think, okay, this is great. As soon as this is finalized, then we're going to get every MGM title on Prime Video. And that's fantastic. Maybe. That's a possibility. I think it's a low possibility, but it is a possibility. They could stand up a separate streaming service. Like I said, MGM Plus or whatever. That one, again, it's possible, but not. I wouldn't think that that's likely. Here's what I think we're going to get. Instead of a standalone streaming service with MGM Plus or whatever they would call it, I don't think we'll get that. Instead, I think we're going to get a mix of two things. The first is MGM titles on Prime Video, right? So this will help bolster the Prime Video library, as though it needed any help. There's a ton of stuff on there. But the other thing that they can do now is license this content out. to their competitors, to Hulu, to Netflix, to whoever else, HBO Max. And so that could end up being more lucrative for Amazon than just putting it on Prime Video. Prime Video is already a very popular streaming service. Prime, obviously a very popular service, so they're getting a lot of revenue from that already. It will probably make sense sometimes with some titles to just put them on to put them on Prime Video. But, let's just take the James Bond franchise for now. Let's just talk about James Bond. Now that they have the rights to that, they will obviously they'll get future profits from future movies. I think there's another one coming out with Daniel Craig here soon. I'm not sure, what the profit share will be in this deal, if there is something like that. But anyway, yeah, they'll get future profits. But from those past ones, how many people will it entice if Amazon comes out and says, hey, we put every single James Bond film on Amazon Prime? How many people will then go sign up for Prime who didn't already have it before? I don't know, but I suspect the number would be surprisingly small. On the other hand, okay, so sorry, no, let's game this out a little bit. So Amazon charges, was it $12 a month for Prime membership? I think you can get video only for $9 a month. Let's call it $9 a month, and let's say they get 1 million new subscribers. So that's $9 million a month by putting the Bond movies on Prime Video. $9 million a month for a company that just bought MGM for $8.5 billion. Not very much money. On the other hand, let's say they license it to Netflix or Hulu, and they can charge 3, 4, 10, 20, whatever the number is, so much more than that to these streaming services to license all those James Bond movies. Again, I don't know what the numbers are. Don't ask me for specifics. My point is, it's probably, with a lot of these titles, it's probably going to end up being more lucrative for Amazon to send them out. So you'll still see these MGM titles pop up on Netflix, Hulu, wherever. Now, again, I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. So, yeah, get your mug today. MGM started in 1924. Excellent bit of sleuthing. Okay, yeah, a couple of people mentioned that. So, yeah, thank you. 1924. That is an old studio. My word. If I had $8.5 billion, I would buy it just for the bragging rights. That's pretty great. Okay, good. So good. We got through everything. Let's do some Q&A. Well, I'll stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes. We'll do a little Q&A. And, anybody is welcome to ask a question, but I am going to favor our quiz winners here who may have some questions. So let's see. I did know about this. Yeah, they're already on Pluto and Tubi. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. You license it out, get that sweet revenue. Okay. George comes in with the first one. All right, Ryan, if I hear from you, I'll bump you up to the front, but let's see. Okay, so George asked, will the price increase on the Disney Plus Hulu ESPN bundle? Yeah, I believe it will. So let's, okay, see if I can pull up the numbers on that. Okay. All right, so let me get back. Oh, up. The problem is they kind of hide that cost, don't they? Okay, so yeah, it's at what, $14 a month? Dang it! I wish I could find the newest numbers. Here we go. Oh, come on. Yes, I know that they did increase it. I wonder if they'll just do that dollar increase across the board. Yep, $14 a month. There we go. Yeah, so I think it was 13. Now it's $14 a month, according to Business Insider. So that's a great question. Yeah, just needed to go and verify. So, yep, starts at $14 a month. There you go. Great question, George. It would be very weird for them to increase the price on Disney Plus and then not on the bundle. But yeah, they did. So, okay, great. So let's see. Ryan, let's make sure we get to you. What are your thoughts on possible future VR-focused streaming services? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, man. So, it's coming. It will be a thing. The question is when. The question is when that will be the case. So, we're seeing we're seeing a jump in VR usage for video games. Obviously, that's kind of the obvious place for VR to have gone is video games. So what's it been? I mean, it's been out technically for like the last 5 years or so, as far as like kind of a regular consumer product. But it's really picked up steam in the last year or two, with enhanced reality, or whatever they call it. Is that what they call it? Enhanced reality versus virtual reality. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is looking good as far as the VR technology. But with that, so to make it a viable streaming service, let's say a TV service, right, for shows and movies, it needs to be accessible for not just high income people and not just really passionate people, but regular everyday people like me who have to have to think really hard about their budget. And so, okay, sorry, I'm thinking through this. What are my thoughts on this? I'm giving them to you without any filter. This is just me thinking about it right now. It's too expensive right now. The technology is too expensive to make it viable. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg problem. Okay, so you need content creators to make good VR content, and you need the logistical side of it. You need the product creators to have the products out there. Now the products are there, and the technology, the content is there, but the price of both is so high that it would make it prohibitively expensive to try to scale to the level that TV is at. Video games is a little different because video gamers, of which I count myself a mild sort, they're a passionate lot, and so they're willing to pay $60 for a game or $80 for a game. They're willing to fork over $500 for a VR headset. And get the nice gaming laptop that it takes to run it. And, so they're sinking hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars into getting a VR set going, and then they thoroughly enjoy it. And it's great. It's fun, but that's not going to be very viable for TV, right? You need to get, like, the secret to Roku's success early on was they said, hey, we'll give you this little thing for $30. Plug it into your TV, and you're off to the races. You can stream to your heart's content, right? That's still kind of the appeal of something like Roku. And so VR needs to get there before I think anything will happen. And how long is that going to take? I give it minimum 5 years, probably more like 10, possibly 15. But call it 10 years from now. There will be some really good VR options for your everyday TV movie entertainment. What else was I going to say on this? I can't remember. That's what happens when you get me going on a stream of consciousness, thinking things out on the spot. That's a good question, though, Ryan. You used your question very well. Okay, so let's move over to Hamza. I heard Sling TV has a new interface. Any thoughts on that? This is one where this is going to be a lot easier for me to answer. I don't have any thoughts on it. It has been I think 2 or 3 months at least since I logged into Sling TV. I haven't used it in a while. With live TV streaming services, which I don't really use very often, but when I do, if I need to answer a question for some video I'm making or whatever, then I usually am going to pop into Hulu Live or maybe YouTube TV. Sling, I haven't used Sling in a while on a regular basis, and it's been a few months since I logged in, so I don't have any thoughts on this, but I will say this reminds me, I've been thinking about going back into these live TV streaming services. I used to do a ton of videos on them. I've shifted toward the on-demand videos or the on-demand services and doing videos, breaking those down. But I've been thinking, I probably need to get back to the live TV stuff and make sure that you and I, that we're all up to date on what's going on in that sphere. And so this is a good reminder for me to go and do that. That will be interesting. So I'll go ahead and watch out for a new interface on Sling TV. Okay, so where are we at? Did you hear the rumor of Disney possibly buying Discovery Warner? The Discovery Warner deal is so new that I would just chalk this up to pure rumor and speculation. I don't think that I don't think that strikes me as maybe somebody on Twitter or some blogger putting this out there, and then people are like, "Oh, that's interesting. What if they bought them?" If it does happen, it won't be for a while, because AT&T is still 61%. I want to say it's a 61 or 71. I think it's a 61% owner of Warner. And so they're not just going to let go of that revenue stream. They spun off Warner Media, and then that partnered with Discovery, and they did that I think partly just because AT&T kind of finally threw up their hands and they're like, fine, we don't know how to make this work. You guys figure it out. We'll just get some of the profits from it. I would be shocked if AT&T gave that up. So especially soon, ask me again in a year or two, and the landscape could look a little bit different. Okay, let me see if I am. Let's see, missing. Let's see. We got Shoaib, we got Ryan, I think we got George, right? George, we got you. C-Dub, and I know we got Hamza. So C-Dub, if you have a question, I'm watching for it. I don't think I've seen it yet. Oh my gosh, you guys. Whistle Out is in the chat. Highlight my comment or we're not friends. So she must be done with her live stream. If you guys have not subscribed to Whistle Out, you should. They do a similar program to us. If you are familiar with our dream jobs, we do these every so often. Dream jobs, massive mega giveaways, whatever. We do these every so often. They're a lot of fun. I love doing them. And over on Whistle Out, they do a similar thing. So if you are into mobile tech, phone plans, keeping track of all that stuff, then Sherry over at Whistle Out is awesome at it. And I highly recommend that channel. Plus, they have all the fun giveaways. The reason I bring that up is because she just did one of those today, announced a winner today. So, and I know she was streaming at the same time. And, we had a little under the table bet about who would be more successful. Okay. So let's see. Noah's asking, why is Disney Plus changing the price? I'll tell you what, I'm not going to go all the way back. We did talk about that at the beginning of the stream or near the beginning of the stream. So go when this is all done, you can go watch this on demand, go back to the beginning of the stream. And I know I'm missing somebody. Okay. Well, okay. I think I'll keep an eye out for C-Dub. If C-Dub asks a question, have you heard that Psych 3 is coming out soon? Yes, I have. How could I miss it? I love Psych. That's such a great show. Ashley, hello. Glad you're here. All right. What's the new price for Disney Plus? $8 a month, $80 a year, or $14 a month if you get the bundle with ESPN Plus and Hulu. Okay. So I love this. I'm so frustrated with Paramount Plus. Can you tell me how a streaming app in 2021 doesn't have a watch list or favorite section in their app? All I can say is preach. No, I know. And that's why, like, when what's the other one? Discovery Plus. When Discovery Plus came out, I was blown away. As I've talked about Discovery Plus before, and so you guys might have heard me talk about it before. I don't really actually watch Discovery Plus very much, just because the content tends to be stuff that I'm less interested in. I will go in every once in a while and watch, like, my kids love MythBusters, so go watch MythBusters or something. But I was blown away, and it was partly because even though it's content that I'm not all that interested in, I could still recognize how amazing the content library is. There are a ton of people who are into what Discovery Plus has to offer. So I could recognize on the content side, yeah, this is an amazing app as far as what it can give you. But then I also recognized that they actually built a really nice app right at the beginning. Not that there weren't things to improve on. Discovery Plus, it's not like it's perfect, but they seem to take a lot of these features that are either a given or like a nice to have on these other streaming services, and they found a way to build it in. And then Paramount Plus, which is essentially a reskin of CBS All Access in a lot of ways, they come out with Paramount Plus, and it's missing these basic things, and it's just, come on, what is going on? So hopefully they'll get their act together at some point. All right. Oh, I did see something from C-Dub. Okay, let me see. There we go. Okay, have you heard of the streaming service Boss TV? It's available on the Google platform and only costs $1. It's amazing for the price. I have not heard of this, okay? So we're going to do a little live Googling. Boss TV. Okay, looks like it's an APK. It is available on the Google Play Store. Let's see what it is. So I have not heard of this. It looks like it's a little bit smaller streaming service. It's got 19 reviews on Google. So yeah, I won't feel bad for not having heard of it, but I'm glad that you turned me on to it so I could kind of keep an eye out. Yeah, there are. Okay, all right. Boss TV it looks like it's an Indian service, so it's telecasted in metropolitan city Chennai and around the greater Chennai surrounding areas. Okay, so this is an Indian streaming service. Again, that's another good reason for me not to have heard of it. So yeah, Boss TV, I haven't heard of it. What'd you say? It was costs $1. It's amazing for the price. Yeah, be interested to see if it's something worth keeping an eye on in the U.S. Or if it's something that will be more of interest in India. Because we are we do take a U.S. centric view. When we talk about our reviews, just because I can't possibly keep up with everything worldwide. I have a hard enough time keeping up with the U.S. as it is. Like I said, I haven't even logged into Sling TV in a couple months. So here's a good question. Let's see. Would you say the Disney Plus bundle? The Disney Plus bundle is worth it. Totally up to you. I would say yes. I would say absolutely yes. It's for the same price as Netflix now. I think, well, is Netflix up to 15? I think Netflix, whatever. For essentially the same price as Netflix, $14 a month. You get Disney Plus, you get commercial supported Hulu, and you get ESPN Plus. Now, ESPN Plus is not ESPN. However, it's getting better and better and better as the years go by. I quite like I quite like ESPN Plus, especially if you use ESPN Plus. If you watch a lot of sports, you can use ESPN Plus as kind of a supplement to ESPN. So you're not going to necessarily get a ton of marquee games on there. Now, there is a lot of MLS content. So if you follow MLS soccer, you can follow that there. I think there's a lot of hockey content on there these days. But when it comes to the big three in the U.S., baseball, basketball, and football, you're not going to get a ton of like the games on there. Some, but not a lot. But what you do get is a lot of the extra analysis, or game shows, or what was the thing that like Peyton Manning breaking down football plays for 20 minutes, just like it's like you in the film room with with Peyton Manning or whoever. Like stuff like that is amazing. It's really, really good. So if you're a sports fan, beyond just watching games, then ESPN Plus is amazing. So is it worth it? Yeah. In fact, if ESPN Plus wasn't part of the deal, I would still say, yeah, it's worth it. Basically it's the same price, I think, or it might be $1 off. So Disney Plus is $8. Hulu, I can't remember if it's 6 or 7. I think it's $7 a month. Yeah, $6 a month. Okay, so $8 a month plus $6 a month is 14. So at $14 a month, that is the price of if you were to get Disney Plus and Hulu separately. And so you pay that price and you get ESPN Plus on top of it. It's a great deal as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's great. All right, we'll go for just a couple more minutes. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this is a good question. I got this one a little bit last week. What do I think of the Warner Media Discovery merger? I am holding off on commenting much about this, other than it's interesting. I said a little bit about some of the whys and the possible repercussions a few minutes ago, but for the most part, like I'm not going to be doing a 10-minute video breaking this one down just yet, simply because we don't have enough answers. Basically, if I did a 10-minute video on the Warner Media and Discovery merger, it would be 1 minute of me giving you a few facts, and then 9 minutes of, hey, here's a question, here's another question, here's another question. We don't have answers to any of those. And so until more information comes out, I'm going to hold off on really having any thoughts about it. So we'll see how that one goes. This happens to me all the time. I forgot I was still paying for Shudder. Oh, I did a best horror movies, or best horror streaming services. I think I did a separate video for that. Anyway, regardless, I signed up for like 4 or 5 horror streaming services and canceled them all, or so I thought. I actually like Shudder. I still pay for Shudder. I think it's really good. But the other one was like Screambox, I think it was. And I had signed up for it to do this video, and then forgot to cancel, apparently, because 4 months later I got another receipt from them. I'm like, wait a minute, and I had to go back in and cancel. So yeah, happens to me all the time. Okay, let's see. I think we're coming around to the end of it. So, Colin, again, this is something that I talked about a little bit earlier. And so when I'm done with the live stream and it's available on demand, you can go check out my thoughts on that. I talk about this one actually a lot. So for those of you who are longtime viewers of the stream, you already know my answer to this. My choice is HBO Max, but that's not because Netflix is bad. I just prefer the content on HBO Max. So it's just a personal preference. I think they're both great. The nice thing about HBO Max is that I think they're doing a better job currently of kind of mass cultural titles, right? So they put out Zack Snyder's Justice League, or last night they did the Friends reunion special, and it seems like half of America tuned into that because I couldn't actually get into watching it. It kept buffering, and so I had to wait to get in and watch it. And so they do a really good job of creating these cultural moments where everybody's got to go in and watch Wonder Woman. Everybody needs to go and watch what's the monkey and the lizard, Godzilla versus Kong. I like that. I like that kind of mass cultural experience, and everybody's watching the same thing, and they all get to talk about the same thing on social media or at work or whatever. On Netflix, on the other hand, they do a great job of targeting content to you. And so what I mean by that is I think they're spending $19 billion this year on content. Most of that I think will go into content creation versus licensing. And the reason they spend so much on content creation, so that they can have 20 things coming out every week, and you're not going to be interested in 19 of those, but you'll be really interested in that one thing. And that'll keep you really invested for another couple of weeks until the next thing that's targeted toward you comes out. So HBO Max feels more like a cultural event every time you log in, whereas Netflix feels more like it's your Netflix. It's your streaming service every time you log in. Does that make sense? So I like both of them. I prefer the HBO Max experience, but if somebody told me that that they prefer the Netflix experience, I think that's totally valid. And yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there, you guys. We've been going for just over an hour now. My voice is about to give out, so I'd better stop now. Quit while I'm ahead. But just as a reminder, for those of you who are still here, don't forget to go to the giveaways page. It's in the description. Go to the giveaways page. Next week, we're going to be giving away 3 lifetime Plex passes. So Plex is a free streaming service, but they do have a premium version that is extra sweet. And they have graciously decided to gift 3 of those lifetime memberships to our viewers. So make sure you are here next week. I will be announcing the winner during the live stream next week. Winners, I guess, plural. So make sure you're here and tell your friends, like, subscribe, share, all the things. Really appreciate your support. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will see you next Friday.